what happens in the locker room should stay there. But some people love drama.
The purple and gold are currently imploding, sending massive shockwaves across the entire basketball landscape. Insider whispers suggest a heated locker room clash erupted between King James and the Slovenian phenom over a reality LeBron never envisioned. The young star didn't just join the squad, he effectively seized the throne. Within 24 hours, the hierarchy in Tinseltown shattered. For 6 seasons, James ruled every inch of that court as the ultimate authority. However, the moment the newcomer touched down, the whole franchise shifted its gravity entirely toward him. The turning point came during a recent matchup when the general manager, Rob Pelinka, bypassed James completely to trail behind. The Slovenian sensation straight down the tunnel instead. One look at the king revealed pure shock. The atmosphere in Los Angeles has undergone a total transformation. The crown is slipping, and the new kid is already wearing it. We are unpacking everything from that tunnel snub to the internal drama. Forget everything you knew about James running the show in Hollywood. Those days are officially over. The roster's rhythm has changed, and management is now fully committed to the era of the European phenom. He is the primary architect now, absorbing the cheers, the high fives, and the adoration that once belonged to number 23. This goes way beyond rumors. The evidence is written all over the hardwood for the world to witness. Just watch him rack up triple doubles and hit impossible shots while elevating everyone around him to a whole new level. Sure, the veteran is still producing numbers, but there is no denying a new lawman has arrived in town. The blueprints for the future are clearly centered on the kid, as their digital presence screams it every single day. Every highlight, celebration, and candid locker room clip features the young superstar front and center on the timeline. Meanwhile, mentions of the veteran icon have grown remarkably sparse and subdued lately. Hall of Famers are already crowning him the next face of the league, and the tension lies in this coup happening right now. The king anticipated the succession eventually, but never expected such a swift and loud takeover of his kingdom. More than just a star, he represents the next 10 years for the franchise and their renewed championship ambitions. For perhaps the first time in 2 decades, the great James feels like an outsider on his own court. Keep in mind, this man has dictated terms since 2010. He has always been the ultimate leader of men. That grip on the game is failing him now. The entire building has redirected its gaze toward the Slovenian wonder. Everything reached a boiling point following that massive deal that rattled the foundations of the sport. Headlines confirmed the young star was headed to Hollywood for Anthony Davis and several assets, causing a massive online frenzy. An elite guard in his prime departing Texas for the bright lights of Cali is a seismic shift for the league. The second the paperwork cleared, absolute pandemonium broke out among every corner of the basketball world. Experts and former pros called it a historic gamble, leaving the young star himself in a state of total shock. He confessed it seemed surreal, almost like some elaborate practical joke that had gone way too far. After a career in Dallas, he woke up as the new icon of the West Coast, and the city's response was electric. The fans greeted him like a messiah tasked with restoring the championship pedigree of the legendary franchise. Losing Davis was a bitter pill, but securing a prime version of the league's brightest talent feels like a win. We are potentially set for the next 15 years. This transaction is absolutely massive for our future success. Walking into that inaugural media session, you could literally feel the tectonic plates of the league shifting. Every camera lens was locked onto the new arrival, sending a loud signal to the rest of the sporting world. A new era has dawned in purple and gold. James is still present, but he is no longer the undisputed apex. This power struggle is fracturing the team's unity, while management barely hides their delight over the new signing. Pelinka was practically glowing while labeling the kid the cornerstone of the franchise's upcoming chapter. It felt as though the front office had already archived the previous era to make room for what comes next. The timing of this transition feels surgically precise and perhaps a little bit heartless toward the veteran. Just as the trade landed, the veteran was sidelined with persistent foot and calf issues keeping him off the floor. You could view it as unfortunate timing, or perhaps a bit of poetic justice for the aging star. While the legend was rehabbing, the team was busy rolling out the welcome mat for their shiny new icon. Initially, the veteran tried to laugh it off, acting as if the departure of his longtime co-star was just a joke. It didn't truly sink in until that media day snapshot of Luka rocking purple and gold. He definitely paid his respects, yet getting that breaking news while out with family felt like a total internet hoax. I assumed it was a prank, just people messing around online. Partnering with another Titan sounded great, yet he never imagined the franchise would abandon him so ruthlessly. The narrative shifted instantly. A simple Dallas adjustment transformed into a massive Hollywood overhaul. Los Angeles grabbed the global focus, sending the fanbase into a total frenzy. Management signaled a new era centered on Luka, leaving the legendary LeBron feeling like a ghost in his own arena. That is when the chaos intensified, because Luka's arrival in Tinseltown wasn't just some standard roster move. This was a coup, shifting the entire atmosphere of that building by the next morning. Reports from Joan Buha suggest internal vibes soured instantly, with organizational figures fearing that deep confusion and resentment are now creeping in. Even the support staff started questioning who truly held the keys to the kingdom. To grasp how much this wounded him, you must revisit the king's long history. The man has spent decades as the architect, controlling everything from rosters to coaching and media spin from Miami to California. Recall that first era in Ohio. He initially lashed out at management's failures, but his 2014 return signaled a total power grab. Kevin Love was shipped out immediately simply because that was LeBron's demand. When David Blatt didn't fall in line, he was canned despite being number one, replaced instantly by Tyronn Lue. His short-term deals were tactical weapons, forcing front offices to surrender to his every whim. That iron grip extended to the West Coast, where Legend became a reality, building the Lakers in his image. He engineered the Anthony Davis trade, demanded upgrades, and clearly smoothed the path for his son's draft night. Every strategic move and every headline belonged to him until this very moment. Everything fractured once Luka arrived, and suddenly, the organization wasn't just tuning LeBron out. They crowned Luka as the successor, involving him in every high-level meeting and strategic coaching decision. The prestige and reverence once exclusive to LeBron was now being funneled directly toward the young Slovenian. The transition happened with such speed that it left the entire locker room in shock. Eventually, the pressure peaked, with whispers of LeBron actually confronting Luka over who leads this squad. Tempers flared and camps formed, with reports indicating things nearly escalated into a physical altercation. They tried to bury the story until fans spotted that cringeworthy moment during a timeout when LeBron shook hands while ignoring Luka completely. The world saw the footage, the internet erupted, and the facade of a friendly rivalry vanished. This wasn't merely some minor disagreement behind closed doors. We are witnessing a brutal power struggle against a man who has never been second best. He's the commander and the closer, yet he's finally met a peer who challenges his dominance effortlessly. It's not about politics. Luka's sheer brilliance on the hardwood is seizing the throne on its own. That reality is precisely what is destroying LeBron's peace of mind. The youthful energy and endless media worship are slowly dismantling the legendary aura LeBron spent 20 years establishing in the city of Los Angeles. Fans are finally voicing the unthinkable. Is this still LeBron's kingdom, or has Luka Doncic already taken the crown? This isn't tabloid trash. It is a seismic shift in the hierarchy happening before our eyes. In an era where clout is currency, the fractures in the king's empire are becoming impossible to mask. If that initial trade was shocking, just wait until you witness how the atmosphere within the Lakers and the entire league has shifted. The hype around Luka is magnetic, turning this internal friction into a ticking time bomb. This is the kind of high-stakes drama the NBA hasn't witnessed in a generation. From the rookies to the veterans, the entire roster is starting to rally behind Luka's banner. Even Austin Reeves dropped a bombshell comment following a massive victory that left everyone stunned. Usually reserved with his praise, he flat-out labeled Luka as the premier force in basketball today. He doubled down by celebrating Luka's leadership and his uncanny ability to elevate every teammate's game. Then came the words that shifted everything. This team belongs to Luka now. It goes beyond simple admiration, it's pure, unshakable devotion. His heart is locked on nothing but total victory. When a talent of that magnitude joins your roster, his genius is undeniable, especially how he simplifies the entire sport for his peers. The praise is universal. Even the legendary figures whom LeBron once idolized are pouring immense credit onto Luka's name today. Allen Iverson, a man famous for his raw honesty, recently sat down to shower Luka with some incredibly high praise. Which current pro mirrors your own style on the hardwood? People keep mentioning John, but why overlook Luka? Such a ringing endorsement is rare coming from a legend like A.I. Getting a nod from the answer is arguably the most prestigious validation any basketball player could ever dream of receiving. Kevin Garnett weighed in with a sharp perspective, suggesting that Luka's arrival in Los Angeles could extend LeBron's career by another 3 seasons. How does Luka impact King James? Honestly, he just gifted the man 3 more years of elite longevity. We know what James is capable of, and this is exactly what he hoped AD would provide. Take the lead, superstar. Just watch him work. What Luka is bringing to the table will be absolutely world-shattering. In short, despite the internal friction and clashing egos, the Slovenian sensation is essentially salvaging the Kings' closing chapter. Garnett offered a harsh reality check that no one could actually dispute. While the internal hierarchy shifts painfully, Luka is maintaining the team's prestige and securing a graceful exit for James's final run. Remarkably, Luka did more than just win over the crowd. He completely overhauled their tactical DNA. This wasn't merely a minor upgrade. The evolution was instantaneous. Prior to his arrival, their offensive strategy was serviceable but lacked that certain spark of brilliance. The moment he touched the floor, the statistics began to explode beyond all expectations. Data shows their perimeter shooting frequency surged from 34.3 to 42.3 per 100 possessions, leaping from the basement to the elite top 3. Witness the Luka effect. He forces opponents to overextend, carving out pathways for drives and granting teammates the freedom to dominate their matchups. Whenever the defense tries to swarm him, he pinpoints the free teammate with clinical, almost robotic precision. With him active, their scoring efficiency soared to 116.1, instantly propelling the squad into the league's top 7 units. This isn't accidental fortune, it's a structure forged around his genius. Regarding individual records, he is already etching his name into franchise lore. During his debut clash with his former Dallas squad, he notched 19 points, 15 boards, and 12 dimes to secure a triple-double. It was far more than just a bold declaration of intent. He sent a clear signal back to Texas. You just watched your cornerstone walk out the door. That Tuesday marked his 81st career triple-double and his maiden voyage in the iconic purple and gold, leaving Dallas fans in mourning. He has since maintained averages of 27 to 28 points, 8.2 boards, and 7.5 assists, the hallmarks of a true leader. Keep in mind, these feats are happening while he navigates fresh chemistry and the intense glare of the Los Angeles media circus. Such figures go beyond being noteworthy. They are fundamentally altering the team's entire trajectory for the better. The secondary impact is massive. Because he draws so much defensive attention, players like Austin Reeves and Jackson Hayes are finally flourishing. Under his command, the team's screen and roll efficiency climbed from 0.92 to 1.18 points per play after February 2025. That is world-class production, the exact kind of leap that bridges the gap between being a contender and a champion. The hierarchy is undergoing a mathematical revolution. He isn't just an addition. He is the architect redesigning the entire Lakers strategy from scratch. As for the King, he is experiencing the unfamiliar sensation of standing in a teammate's shadow for the very first time. Teammates who seemed like mere afterthoughts a year ago are now glowing with a newfound, superstar-level brilliance. This is no fluke. Opponents can no longer pack the interior because Doncic has fundamentally rewired the way the Lakers attack the basket. Gone are the days of those sluggish, repetitive solo plays tethered to LeBron's measured tempo. The squad now thrives on incredible momentum, velocity, and sharp execution. Space is abundant, the gameplay is crisp, and the atmosphere is electric, all resulting from a very deliberate and calculated evolution. The management and coaching staff had no choice but to reconstruct their entire philosophy around him. One source described it as a total system overhaul. It was essentially a complete software refresh for the franchise. The team didn't merely trade talent, they traded their very soul. Fact is, the organization couldn't rely forever on a 41-year-old icon whose peak is clearly in the rearview mirror. They required a new centerpiece to anchor the future for the next 10 years. Luka is unquestionably that chosen leader. Possessing vitality, unmatched talent, and a competitive spirit, the 26-year-old delivers historic stats while continuing to evolve his game. The front office recognized what was glaringly obvious. Luka is far more than some quick fix. He represents the cornerstone. By acquiring him, the Lakers didn't just retool, they reinvented their whole destiny. Clearly, this wasn't merely a high-profile swap. It marked the formal dawn of the Luka dynasty. Los Angeles is no longer leaning on LeBron's aging frame to stay relevant. They are forging a fresh legacy, one that functions flawlessly without him controlling every possession. With Luka steering, the machinery runs with high-speed precision. When comparing the statistics side by side, there is zero debate about who is currently in charge. Luka maintains a staggering 33.8% usage frequency. Essentially, every third play flows through his hands. Meanwhile, LeBron's involvement has withered to 28.8%. That 8% gap proves the offense has migrated away from him. Luka is the engine now, period. He is putting up 28.2 points, 8.1 boards, and 7.5 assists in 35 minutes. Conversely, LeBron is managing 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. Respectable production, but the gravity just isn't there anymore. Luka's brilliance elevates everyone, while LeBron's performance finally betrays his age. But here is the juicy part. It goes beyond hardwood performance. It is about the calculated moves occurring within the organization's shadows. Remember that hallway incident where Rob Pelinka bypassed LeBron to trail Luka post-game? That was no accident. That was pure symbolism. It was the general manager's unspoken way of declaring a new king has arrived. LeBron felt the shift. The entire arena did. Why did that tiny moment carry so much weight? The Lakers historically tip their hand once they crown a new savior. When Magic arrived, the franchise bowed. When Shaq dominated, every single orbital piece revolved around his massive physical presence. When Kobe ascended, the branding and roster shifts centered on him. Now, that torch belongs to Luka Doncic. The evidence is undeniable. Luka is reportedly huddling with Pelinka constantly, discussing rotations, tactics, and future deals. Marketing blitzes have already begun positioning him as the centerpiece through various nuanced branding strategies. From street billboards to social media feeds, the vibe changed. Ticket promotions feature Luka's face, not the King's. Insiders are being blunt about it. Los Angeles has officially transitioned into a post-LeBron reality. Leadership is mapping out the next decade with Luka. Pelinka confessed that the team is building around him. That is not mere gossip. It is a formal confirmation of the new order. I cannot imagine a more perfect foundation for constructing a championship roster for the coming decade. So the question remains, what did LeBron expect? That he would remain the alpha dog until eternity? Did he think the organization would orbit him forever? He spent years pulling every lever and steering direction. Now the tide has turned, and his resistance is palpable. Tension is rising because LeBron won't vanish quietly. Reports suggest he is desperately fighting to regain his influence. The struggle is visible during every single game. Some nights he monopolizes possessions, forcing the action through himself rather than letting Luka orchestrate the rhythm. Seamless Luka-led plays often stall out because LeBron feels the need to prove his legendary status remains. These moments are revealing. They show an aging legend losing his grip and a hungry star refusing to wait. The Lakers are no longer LeBron's kingdom. This has officially become Luka's personal empire. The world is watching this power struggle unfold. Even in press conferences, LeBron can no longer hide it. Those subtle jabs keep leaking out. He emphasizes veteran leadership to take thinly veiled shots at his successor. Everyone sees the act for what it is, a desperate performance of manufactured authority. He clings to his status as the wise mentor, but deep down, he knows the hierarchy has flipped. Here is the perfect phrase for his current behavior. He is a frontrunner. When the championship window looks open, he plays the inspiring leader like 2019. When it doesn't, he retreats into passive-aggressive behavior. Honestly, the media is only making things worse. The moment the Luka trade was finalized, every major sports program and podcast exploded into high gear. Analysts, former stars, and hosts completely pivoted the conversation within 24 hours. The debate isn't about team chemistry anymore. It is whether Luka is now the face of professional basketball. Most evenings, the gap between the king and the kid will be undeniable. Expect number 77 to dominate every court as if he already owns the crown. Even the truth himself didn't hold back, dropping that bombshell for the whole world to hear. Having the veteran pave the way for the young gun to lead the purple and gold felt like a sharp blade to the gut. Picture number 23, watching that footage from his couch, realizing his peer just voiced the unspoken truth echoing through every locker room. Major networks labeled this swap the most chaotic shakeup in decades, eclipsing the very super team era that forged his legendary status. It is a cruel twist of fate, as experts ponder if the icon has been reduced to a mere transition phase. He's serving as a placeholder guide while the Slovenian phenom prepares to seize control. Meanwhile, the internet has turned savage, flooding feeds with mockery. Viral clips depict the rookie carrying the vet, or show the legend dissolving into shadows while the newcomer basks in the limelight. The stadium atmosphere says it all as the name Luka thunders through the rafters of the arena, sounding exactly like a changing of the guard. From sunrise to sunset, the conversation revolves entirely around one man. media outlets fixate on his international magnetism and jersey hype. Now, every blueprint for the franchise's future has his face plastered on the cover. Simultaneously, the man who used to own every front page has become nothing more than a footnote in his own story. The script has been flipped entirely. The lead character is no longer the veteran. The spotlight has shifted to the successor. The situation spiraled out of control as the press frenzy didn't stop at the front office. It ignited a civil war among the faithful. The fan base is fractured and things are getting messy. Just peek at the digital battlegrounds or the sidewalk outside the arena after the final buzzer. Pure bedlam has erupted as supporters clash with the intensity of a blood relative vendetta. The newest wave of followers has completely pledged their loyalty to the Slovenian star. They are busy crafting viral reels of those impossible stepbacks and signature shots, all captioned with declarations that the new era of Los Angeles has arrived. His flashy style and reality-defying assists have them hooked. In their eyes, he isn't just some athlete. He is the fresh pulse of the organization, the primary reason people are actually excited to pay for a seat in the stands. Most shocking of all is that the veterans who cheered for Magic, Kobe, and Diesel are finding themselves drawn to the kid as well. He possesses a spark that echoes the glory years, a lethal combination of pure talent and a relentless hunger for victory. It's a familiar cinematic ending, reminiscent of when the wand was handed from number 32 to number 8. Now, the cycle repeats from the king to the prince. This spells trouble for the veteran because front offices always align with whoever the fans worship. Magic, Shaq, and Kobe all commanded their own loyal legions. Now, a new militia is forming around the youngster, a die-hard following earned through raw play and genuine grit rather than just marketing noise. Connect the dots. The executive hints, the news obsession, and the public drawing battle lines. It explains the frustration leaking from the legend. He isn't just wrestling for the ball or the spotlight. He is currently at odds with the soul of Tinseltown itself, a conflict that has never ended well for any icon. We have reached the turning point. One inquiry lingers in the air, though few dare whisper it. Has the sun finally set on his reign? Has the young buck snatched the crown purely by outrunning, outlasting, and simply outclassing the old yard in the present moment? From the commercial blitzes to the coaching decisions, every signal from the team suggests they have mentally already stepped into the next chapter. Basketball world, take notice. He isn't some distant threat. He is the now and the tomorrow. While the veteran's history is written in stone, the current era is no longer his. The city has cast its vote, and the mantle has been handed over. Where does your allegiance lie? Are you backing the king or the prince? Let your voice be heard in the discussion below. Smash that thumbs up, spread this around, and make sure to follow for more intense hoops storytelling and analysis. Until next time, stay tuned.